Intermittent fasting, a fresh look at an old practice. Many of us practice intermittent fasting every day without even realizing it. At night, we eat our last meal and then we go to bed and we wake up the next day. Without even trying, we have just completed a fast, which is why we call it breakfast. Fasting is the time we spend in between meals. When we eat, we are in what's called a fed state. When we are not eating, we are in a fasted state. Intermittent fasting is the practice of spending more time in a fasted state to gain several health benefits. If you think about it, the digestion of food takes a lot of energy and resources from our body. The modern Western diet, where we are constantly eating, means our systems never really get a break. Being able to eat as much as we want when we want is a relatively new phenomenon. If you look at nature, you see animals and other mammals can go days between large meals. For most of history, humans and hunter-gatherers have lived the same way. They would hunt a buffalo, feast on it for several days, but then not eat again until they made another kill. Even after domestication, you couldn't just run to the supermarket when you got hungry. As a result, our body has evolved to store as much fat as possible, and we can go up to 30 or more days without food. In fact, that is the entire purpose of body fat. Some animals fast for even longer. Think about a bear hibernating for winter, or a whale migration traveling months to feeding grounds without eating. There are several different types of intermittent fasting that have become popular. The first is the 16-8. 16-8 fasting is the most common plan to follow. It was popularized by actors like The Rock, Terry Crews, and was actually credited for how Hugh Jackman got in shape to play Wolverine. It involves a cycle of 16 hours of not eating and 8 hours of eating. A simple strategy would be to have dinner at 6 p.m. and then not eat again until 10 a.m. Another popular choice is the one meal a day, also known as the OMAD diet. This one is tough because it is difficult to get all of our nutritional needs met in one large meal. This is a great one if you're trying to cut your calories or eat less. Another common type of fasting is eating every other day, and this is exactly as it sounds. This can seem difficult, but in the long run, it's almost easier to keep track of. On fed days, you can eat whatever you want, as much as you want, and then every other day, you'll take that day off from eating. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can take your fast even longer if you'd like to experience some more benefits. However, anything over 72 hours isn't usually recommended. Because fasting has been around forever, it is easy to study, and there is an amazing amount of data on its health effects. Here are some of the amazing impacts of fasting. When your body has a break from digesting food, it goes through a process called autophagy. Autophagy is when your body goes through your cells and finds the broken or damaged cells and metabolizes them. This is your body cleaning house. By eliminating dead or malformed cells, we can prevent diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer. Autophagy in fasting was also found by the trade journal Obesity to have a positive effect on reducing inflammation. When we eat foods that are high in sugars and carbohydrates, our body produces insulin to help store the glucose in our fat cells. When we stop eating, the hormone insulin goes down, which then encourages our cells to release the glucose to burn stored fat. This effect on insulin also prevents us from becoming insulin resistant, which is the main cause of diabetes. When we are in a fasted state, our blood sugar begins to drop, as well as our insulin. A study by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that our growth hormone actually goes up, making it easier for us to use that fat as fuel. After we have consumed all the quick-burning glucose, our body switches over to this fat. This is also the basis for the keto diet, to eat enough fat to trick your body into entering the fat-burning mode. Now that we know some of the benefits of fasting, let's jump in to see what happens during a fast. At 0 hours, we have just finished our last meal before our extended fast. 3 hours in, our insulin begins to drop. At 12 hours, the body has used up most of its stored glucose in the liver and the muscles and begins converting fat to ketones for fuel through ketosis. 18 hours in, full ketosis sets in. Your body is beginning to increase its growth hormone to protect muscles and organs. 24 hours, or a full day in. When you extend your fast to 24 hours, your body is in full autophagy mode. It is going through and metabolizing dead and deformed proteins that can cause inflammation and degenerative diseases. 48 hours. If you make it this far, your human growth hormone has reached its peak at a 500% increase in production. according to a study published in the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism. Here are some common questions that people often ask when it comes to fasting. Question: what's the difference between eating less and fasting? In fasting, the primary goal is not to eat less, but to eat less often. However, once you get used to this lifestyle, many people find that they eat less as a byproduct. When we eat several small meals, we keep our blood sugar elevated and we replenish the glucose in our body, meaning we never dip into our fat stores. Won't my metabolism slow down? Well, according to another study published in the journal Obesity, when we fast, our body produces a hormone called norepinephrine, which actually tells our metabolism to increase and tells our body to start burning more fats for fuel. This finding was also found in a clinical trial by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Will I miss out on vitamins and minerals and other nutrients? Well, when fasting, we do not have to change what we eat, just when we eat. Let's say your goal is 2,000 calories. You can eat all the same foods, you just have to stay inside of your 8-hour eating window. Will I lose my muscle? A common fear is that by consuming less calories, you will also lose muscle. However, a study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that when we fast, our human growth hormone actually increases by up to 500% to preserve our muscles and organs. Given all the information we already know and new studies happening all the time, we can see why fasting has gotten new attention. Because there are no diet books to buy or supplements to take, the fitness industry is slow to recognize the benefits of fasting. However, the medical community has taken an interest. Like any diet or exercise advice, the best thing you can do is to try to see if it fits for your lifestyle. The best part is it's free, and you may actually save money on groceries.